Good morning. So I have some canning I got to get done today, so I figured I'll show you guys how I can. We got to do some pickles. I am going to make a really quick lasagna, and we got to do kombucha today. So I have my water boiling for my noodles. I use a casserole pan. I make all my meals for if my husband and I are going to be the only ones eating in here. I would say this is probably a 9x9, maybe an 8x8 you could get away with, but I'll do 6 lasagna noodles. So as soon as the water gets boiling, I do have my pot started for the pickles, and I have my water heated up for my kombucha. So let's get the kombucha going. I'm going to take a 1/2 gallon mason jar. We're going to need a 1/2 cup of sugar. In the jar. You're going to add your hot water. I take a wooden spoon and stir the sugar till it's dissolved. It doesn't take very long. I just heat up about 3 cups of water, not quite, for 3.5 minutes. And then you're going to take black tea, and you're going to need 4 black tea pouches. And then I grab a clothespin, and that's what I use to hold my tea bags on the jar. I just found that's easier for getting it out. And we're just going to let this seep. There we go. While we prep the other stuff. I have my cucumbers in an ice bath. You're going to want to leave your cucumbers in, anywhere up to a couple hours. I am not going to do that. I'm just having them soak like that for now. So we can get our pickle brine ready. So I have a pan, and I'm just going to do a small batch of pickles. I have 6-quart jars out right now, so we'll see where we're going here. I'm going to flip you over to this side. So you guys can kind of see what's going on. So in here I'm going to put probably 4.5 cups of vinegar. I have a 4-cup measuring cup, but I'm going to go above it. I'm hoping that with making a little bit extra, I won't run out. Okay. Then we're going to do 2 cups of water in there. Okay. And how I know my kombucha is ready is it's very strong. So I'm going to start out with probably like 1.5 cups of sugar. And this is a 1/2 measuring cup, so I got to do 3. But you can add however amount of sugar that you want. I wouldn't go too sweet with it. Now we need salt. So I do the pickling and canning salt. You can use kosher if that's what you have, but you have to be careful that you don't get clumps. So I'm going to do about 1.5. I don't care for mine to be very salty. All right, I'm gonna get this up. And so what I'm gonna do is, I don't boil this. So what I will do is just get it to a good simmer to where the bubbles are starting to form, and I'll shut it off. All you're basically wanting to do is heat this up to get everything dissolved, but if you stir it enough, it will. So it'll dissolve just fine without needing to be boiled. Some people boil theirs, that's what they want to do, that's fine. But I feel it's not necessary. Oh, and for the salt, I added about 1.5 tablespoons. Okay, so now we're going to get our jars prepped. So we're going to peel the onion. We're going to save our scraps for our bone broth, which I have a bag that's always going in my freezer of carrot peels, potato peels, celery, stuff like that, onion. Pretty much every vegetable scrap that I get goes in there. Alright, so you're just going to keep stirring your pot until everything is dissolved. And this is going to be a sweet and spicy pickle. In my jars, I'm hoping 6 is enough. So we're going to thinly slice half an onion for now. If we don't use the onion, we can throw it in with our... Right, we're just going to throw some down into our jars. If you want more onion, put the whole thing in, but I'm going to save this for the lasagna, which I'm just going to slice up now so that when we fry up our meat, we can throw that in. If you don't want onion in your pickles, leave it out. If you grow jalapenos, you can throw them in there. I'm going to just use, I save my jalapenos because we're going to be making sausages. So I'm just going to be using crushed red pepper. Alright, let's bring you a little closer over here. Sorry if you're getting a little nauseous. Okay, so we have our 6 jars. I'm gonna get a spoon. Throwing our noodles in the water. Okay, so into each jar, I'm going to, hang on, we gotta stir the brine. You gotta continuously stir it so your sugar and stuff doesn't burn. And then once it, like, it's already dissolved, so. All right, into each of these jars, I'm just gonna add a little bit of minced garlic. Just maybe a half a teaspoon or so. Okay, we're gonna get stuff put away, so that's, unless we gotta clean up later. Mustard seed. I'm just going to dump teaspoon, half a teaspoon. Doesn't have to be exact. I'm going to use celery seed, and I'm just going to dump some in. I'm throwing in some dill. Dill's done for the year, and so I'm just going to put half a teaspoon ish. And then I got a peppercorn medley. So I pickled some cherry tomatoes, which I will be doing again, and I will show you. I didn't want to post a video if I didn't like it, but I think it's worth posting. I think it's worth preserving some cherry tomatoes that way. So I pickled them, and I do really actually enjoy it. Some onion. Okay, so now the crushed red pepper. I'm going to probably put close to a teaspoon in here, not quite. Probably half a teaspoon. If you like it spicier, you can put in whatever you want. And that is it. So I'm going to scrub up my cucumbers. They have little spikes on them. So I'm going to scrub them up. And I don't add anything to keep them crispy. I do have a lot of grapevine around my property, and I could just go out and pick some grapevine leaves. You can do that and throw a leaf down in the bottom of your jar. You can get pickle crisp from the stores, but I'm going to show you what I do here to keep my pickles crispy. I think black tea also is a natural way to keep your pickles crispy, but I don't do that. I have done grape leaves in the past. So these cucumbers are not the prettiest, but it's fine. They still taste good. And they've been soaking for probably close to 30 minutes now, 45 minutes. So this is an overgrown pickle cucumber, and this is what color they turn. So I'm going to slice into it and see if I'll be able to pack it for just slices. We'll see what happens. This is venison burger. All right. So let's start packing jars here. You can, if you want, can whole cucumbers. I'm just going to slice them up. So what you're going to do is when you're cutting the ends off your cucumbers, I cut both ends, but the end you for sure want to cut off is the end that's attached to the cucumber plant, because if you leave that on there, there's an enzyme in it that will soften your cucumbers when you pickle them. So let's get these so you can turn. I just cut my cucumber in half, cut it in half again, and this is how I make my spears. It's fairly simple. I don't worry about getting it perfect. And then you're just going to take your cucumbers and you're just going to pack your jars tightly. So sometimes I can get a whole cucumber in, sometimes I can't. So you're going to want to try to keep your cucumbers below the rim of your jar. Okay, let's get, so my lasagna noodles I just parboil just to soften them up for baking, but so that's basically pretty simple. Like I said, I cut both ends off because they make packing in the jars a lot easier. And you can, you know, if you don't want to wedge them so small, just cut them in half and leave them at that. And then half again. And then you have bigger pickle spears. I eat a tremendous amount of pickles. So I do a lot of pickling because I really do enjoy pickles a lot. So that's why I attempted the pickled cherry tomatoes, and those are absolutely delicious. I strongly recommend doing a small jar, and it's really pretty and it's a way to preserve. I tried dehydrating. That was a disaster. Not only did it, I mean, it took almost 24 hours for some of the tomatoes to even dehydrate. It was ridiculous. This is going to get, we're going to leave that one. Maybe do a slice or something with it. So I just cut it off, try to keep these ends. I'll slice up and make a cucumber salad. I'm not going to throw them. I'll just make a creamy cucumber salad quick with the ends in pieces. So this one, we're going to have to cut more off. I really try hard to do a zero waste. You're going to see that in a minute when we make the lasagna. Alright, let's get these jars packed here. And you just, yeah, pack as tight as you can. cut up this little guy and use him for packing that one, and then we'll do one with, well, that's kind of silly. All right, I want to see here. This cucumber is really overripe. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of the seeds off so they don't dilute my vinegar as much. I canned so much salsa and pickles last weekend on top of dehydrating, and I did pickle the cherry tomatoes. Alright, so we just cut off some of the seeds. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to get these in the jars. Ugh, they're too big. And all my stuff is coming out. That's fine. So what we're going to do is just we'll just do some chunks. Not quite slices. These will be fine for snacking. I didn't get any watermelon rinds pickled this year. Alright, let's get some of these sliced here. They're going to be a little crooked, but it'll be fine. Then we will make our cucumber salad to go with supper tonight. And sometimes I find it easier just to go down the middle and pack. Alright, so we have our 6 jars. So let's get our ends. These are going to be that's going to be a weird looking salad, but it's fine. So I'm going to just cut off the end here. Oops, that's kind of big. So I might take this onion, and I do have onion in my homemade spaghetti sauce, so I might just add it into this cucumber salad now. So alright, we gotta drain lasagna noodles. Water's up. We're going to rinse our noodles a little bit just to cool it down. So funny after you scrub your cucumbers how much seed is in your sink. Still haven't gone out to do horseradish. That absolutely is on high priority list, but we might have to go pull horseradish tonight because hunting season opens on Saturday, and going hunting is a big necessity for us because that gives us meat all winter. And I won't show how we process. I just don't know if YouTube will even allow that. But I will show how we do burger and our sausages, and we're going to be doing summer sausage this year. It's been a couple years. We're getting really low on summer sausage. So I'm just cutting the tips, the ends off, and we're going to save this for cucumber salad. So I use mustard seed in mine. That's pretty much it. I'll do a couple shakes of crushed red pepper, but oh, still got 2 chunks back here. I haven't posted my bone broth video yet for the fact the first part of it got lost on some corrupted SD cards. So alright, we are going to go on. So what we're going to do I cannot stand a mess, but it's fine. Out. Don't like my dog laying in here while I'm doing this, just because if I step on him or we're gonna get injured. So now would be the time that you would taste it to see if you want more sugar in it. It's gonna have a bite because it's vinegar, but I wait till my water starts boiling. I will hot pack these, get the rims cleaned off. You can use vinegar to wipe around the edge. To be honest, I don't follow all that. I don't typically have problems with my stuff sealing. If I notice that they aren't sealing after probably 15-20 minutes of sitting out, I flip my jars upside down. I let them sit that way. It almost always seals. So if you feel more comfortable, if you haven't canned before, by all means, dip your rag in a little bit of vinegar and get it off. I just make sure I keep my rag clean and I rotate. So now we're going to fill these jars up to the bottom ring of the jar. Do not overfill your jars or these will break in the canner. So I pretty much just fill up to the bottom. Making a mess is always a must when you're canning. Oh, that one definitely, I need to scoop some out. So what I will do, take a spoon, sink it down in, just pull out. There we go. Oh, this vinegar is strong. Kind of takes your breath away a little. Getting down to the end. if you're doing a larger batch, I would suggest doubling it. But this is pretty good. I could probably gotten 7 easily out of this recipe, but didn't need it. I used the cucumbers I had, vinegar, water, and sugar. Not crazy expensive. And I only had enough for 1 more pint anyway. And since I did add a little bit extra vinegar, that would definitely work for 7 pints. So now I just take a wet rag and make sure I rotate the rag after wiping to get my rims cleaned. Also, if you have very hard water, you can add a little bit of vinegar to your water bath. Or you can also do it if, we don't need to pressure can these. This has got enough acidity to it. These mainstays lids, not great. And they're left over from last year when you couldn't really find canning stuff. So I might stick these down. So you put them in your boiling water. You let your water come back to a boil, and then you time it for 10 minutes. And I might go a little bit longer because of these lids. But 10 minutes is sufficient if you have quality lids, but these mainstays are not the best. And also, you know, if they don't seal, you can either try again, or you can just do what I do and stick it in the fridge. And the longer you let these sit, the better the flavor. So at minimum, you're going to want to leave them for about 3 weeks on your shelf. Oh my gosh, I really made a mess. All right, let's get lasagna ready so we can get it in the fridge. This is just kind of what I do during the day. All right. There we go. Such a mess. Okay. I'm going to get, so I have a little container left of taco meat. So we are going to throw that in. I know it's weird. I forgot to add it into I made a tater tot hot dish yesterday, and I totally spaced on adding it into my tater tot hot dish. So we need to get it used up because we're trying to do the least amount of waste. You know, groceries are extremely expensive right now. They always have been, but right now especially, it's, well, we'll just use this pan. There's boiled noodles in it. This burger is hard to get out of here. So, we're going to use a spoon. We're getting down to the end of our burger. I think we might have 5 pounds of burger left. So it's very imperative that we get deer, at least one this weekend. All right, pickles are gonna go down now. The water is boiling. And if it stays boiling really good, I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. You have to wait till your water starts doing a rapid boil again. So I have a half a can of diced jalapenos from my tater tot hot dish that we need. Oh jeez, my hands are so wet. That we need to use up. So when I do tater tot hot dish, I almost always do a lasagna after. Oh, I need to get shredded cheese out of the freezer. And, well, hopefully this, I totally forgot about it. This will probably. Okay. And there's, so I made, we had a big fish fry here 2 weekends, almost 2 weekends ago. So what I need to do is, I also need to shred this cheese that's left. It's mozzarella, it'll be fine. So while this is frying, I'm going to run down and grab a jar of spaghetti sauce. So either you can use your fingers to pop your lids, which this is not happening. Sometimes I can pop it, or on your can opener there's a hook. Some people do reuse their lids if you don't crimp it while taking it off. I don't. I know some ladies do. They seal just fine. It's up to you whether you want to do that. I have used like olive jars and stuff for jellies and stuff like that I give away. I wash the jars out, take the labels off, fill it with homemade jelly, can it, and those lids do recant or reseal very, very well. I've done that. Sometimes you don't want to give away your jars just because it's hard not only to find them, but you don't always get your jars back. I thought of a couple tricks that I'll talk about. So with cheese, I do buy this, or when I get to Sam's Club bags are really big, so I just take them and put them in the sandwich bags and do servings. Well, it'd be the quart freezers is what I use, and I just put enough in there to last me, you know, a week or whatever, or two, or depending on what meals. And then I just keep them in the freezer. Milk, I buy half gallons. I keep it in the fridge to use. When it's getting close to expiring, I put them in, I put my milk in vacuum seal bags and I get it in the freezer. I've noticed if I keep my milk at the very back of my fridge, it can last like a week, week and a half after the expiration date. But I try not to do that. So I just get it in vacuum seal bags and I keep it in my freezer, and when I need to use some, I just pull a bag out. You kind of got to plan ahead, to be honest. But sometimes it's inconvenient when you need milk. That's typically when maybe I'd go run and get another half gallon. And then okay, so we're going to add the spaghetti sauce to the burger. We're going to get this warmed up. And this is what I do my layering with. So, in this container, we're going to do 3 of our noodles. And we're just going to lay it down. The bottom noodles I have go up on the sides of my dish. My top noodles will be tucked down. I don't know why I do it. It just makes sense to me. This creates, I don't know. Who knows why people do the weird things that they do, right? It just makes sense. So what I'll do now is get this tucked in, and I'm going to turn it so my next noodles will go down. I don't know. It sounds weird when I say it out loud. So we're going to warm this up a little bit, not too much because it is going into the fridge. So we're going to do a layer here of the meat and spaghetti sauce. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to do a whole container of ricotta cheese. Anybody else save these containers? I do. It's not weird. When you have older kids that when they come home, well, we're just going to use this. They want leftovers of something, and one of my kids is very good at bringing my containers back, but my other 2 are not so much. So we're just going to kind of just smear it, as, you know, doesn't have to be perfect. Food tastes better when it doesn't look pretty, right? So we're just going to smear the whole container of ricotta cheese. Now, if you're like me and have IBS, good luck to you. But now, you're going to take pepperonis, and you're just going to start piling in the pepperoni on this layer. And we're not going to do... Okay. Next, your other 3 lasagna noodles. So I lay it over the top and I tuck this. I don't know. Do it however you want. It sounds so weird saying it out loud. It just makes sense, right? When something makes sense in your head, you don't really need to have to explain why. Unless I'm asking, because sometimes when people do things that don't make sense, I have to know the reason behind it. It's a weird thing, but whatever. So now I kind of take the sides of the other one and I'll kind of fold them over the edges. And this is perfect for like a family of 4. This size. When all my kids lived at home, I obviously would make it in a big cake pan. Okay, now we're going to throw the rest of our meat on here. And we're just going to spread that out, covering all the noodles. Doesn't have to be perfect, even if you have OCD like I do. Okay, we're going to do another layer of pepperonis. just because I have them and I need to, not necessarily to use them up, because I do have the other half of this packet. This is a big packet from Sam's, and I cut them apart and keep one in the freezer. But I will use this pepperoni to add to cheap pepperoni pizzas for my daughter. And she also uses it for making nachos in the fridge. Or nacho cheese in the microwave. Or, oh my god, nachos in the microwave. So, the cheese is still very much so frozen, so that's going to be interesting. You're going to take your mozzarella, and we're just going to start shredding. I just do this little hand one because I found it really simple to use. And mozzarella is a hard cheese to shred anyway because it's so soft. But I did add these to my shotgun shells that I made in the smoker. And I was thinking I really should have recorded me doing that. But I'm going to do, I'm going to be trying a couple different recipes on the smoker here coming up, because the people that came to the fish fry want to do one more before winter comes, and it is September, so potentially we could have snow next month. It's happened. We've had snowstorms in October. I am sweating. What is so hot? Okay, our water is boiling, so I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. Try to get as much as we can. Kind of sucks when you get your finger. I know if you've ever shredded cheese yourself, you've shredded your finger accidentally. So we're just going to call that good. Oh, I'm sweating. It's hot in here. So we're going to spread that out. That's used up, so that makes me happy. Canned jalapenos are in. So what we're going to have to do probably is get this clumped out. This is not good. Totally, you know, knowing I was making lasagna today. But hey, let's forget to take cheese out for the top. We don't need to add too much because we have the ricotta in there, but we do want a good amount. This is just Colby Jack. I don't buy mozzarella very often, I'm gonna be honest, because I don't really use it as much. So I kind of just utilize what we're going to use on a regular basis, and that's what I buy. So now that this is ready to be put in the oven for supper, I'm just going to do some garlic knots. We are going to finish it off. So I should have posted already my recipe for my canned spaghetti sauce. So I'm going to take a little bit of Creole and I'm just going to lightly, very lightly sprinkle the top. And then parsley flakes. And we are going to sprinkle, just sprinkle the top. And that is it. I'll throw it in the oven tonight. Probably, I don't know, 375, 400 for probably like 45 minutes. I'm gonna put tin foil. Oh, I was gonna show you a cool trick. So when you have a bowl like with salad or whatever, actually this might work on here. So my grandma used to do this back in the 80s, and they sell covers now, but these are the things for your hair, like after a perm and this is what I use. Oh, this one's ripped. You know, they're not the best quality, but I've had these quite a while. Looks like it's time to get more. But you can get these in the shower section, or well, it would be like by the hairbrushes and stuff at Walmart. And you just put it over your bowl or your dish, and you don't need to waste saran wrap or tin foil. And then I just take if you know it gets dirty, I just take a damp rag and wipe the inside out. Okay, so now we can finish up kombucha. It's been sitting. So I keep a jug of water in my, it's just tap water, but I keep it in my cupboard so it's at room temperature all the time. I'm out of breath. Trying to get stuff cleaned up a little bit here. But my cheese is refusing to seal because it's packed with frozen cheese. We're going to stick it in a Ziploc. Call it good. So we have about 3 minutes left for the pickles, which is perfect. I'm going to get a spot on the counter ready for them. It's pretty clean over here. So I'm going to get a cutting board and a thicker towel. Alright. Well, I suppose I still have to show you how to make creamy cucumber salad quick. You guys, I'm trying really hard to try to tell you how much I'm adding to things as far as measurements. I'm really bad at it. I'm not gonna lie. I very seldom measure, and if I do, I forget to write it down. I truly believe in measuring with your heart. Kind of like you keep measuring, keep adding until your ancestors tell you to stop. That's kind of my viewpoint. But you also have to know, you know, sometimes you add too much of salt, and then you just have to add some sugar in, stuff like that. Alright, we have 32 seconds here, so we can get started on the tea. So, I just kind of wring the tea out, the tea bags. Careful not to rip them open, because they will, very easily actually. So now I take my water and I will fill my jar full. Okay? Okay. Let's take And set them off on a clean towel. Here's our pickled pieces, which will be delicious. Now you're going to want to let these sit for 24 hours. Mine won't, I'm going to be honest. I'll leave them sit here till maybe tomorrow morning. And then I will take the rings off. And put them on my storage shelf. So now what I do after they come out, I don't know, some people might argue with it, whatever, is I go in and I check to make sure my lids or my bands are tight. They do loosen up, but I'm going to make sure that they're, you know, I'm not going to sit and crank on them, but I am going to give them a little bit of a turn. So, I don't know. That's just what I do. All right. Let's get to the kombucha. So, I have my kombucha back in this crock. She's bubbling. Let me see if I can get you a good view. So this on top is called a SCOBY, and she gets to be a thick girl. She does create babies, and you do have to go in and take them off. And you can keep them in the fridge in a mason jar with some of the juice, and they stay good for a long time actually, but it kind of makes the SCOBY dormant. You can give them away, but if you give them to somebody, you have to give them a cup of your kombucha. So I have these bottles. Menards sells a strawberry lemonade. It's called Calypso. They come in glass bottles with these metal tops, and I saved them. I just took the labels off, ran them through the dishwasher, and I saved lots. So it is bubbled. It's fermented, and it's really good for your indigestion, you know, digestional tract and stuff like that. You can infuse this. Sometimes I do. I will get an all-natural pineapple juice, and you just put some in the bottom of your bottle and fill the rest up with kombucha. The pineapple juice is my favorite. I've done grape juice, an organic grape juice, and it tastes very similar to wine because of the fermentation. My husband gets the generic squeezer bottles of tea. Let me grab it. The Southern sweet tea, and he'll put a squirt of that in there. You just kind of play around with it. Add what you want. You know, I thought about trying like pomegranate juice and stuff like that. But this is how my husband prefers it, is just plain or with the tea. I prefer it with the pineapple juice. I think that was the best one that I've tried. I think pomegranate would be really good too. I've done, I ground up some strawberries from the garden. Ooh. I am gonna have to clean her out. That's fine, we're gonna quit because we have to keep at least a cup in here. So kind of when it starts getting like that, I stop. I usually can get 4 full ones out, but she's probably gotten very thick. So I'm gonna have to pull her apart. You dump that in, make sure that your tea is at least to room temperature. You do not want to add it in hot. And I don't add in straight tap water either. I let it sit down in my pantry. And kind of like, you know, when you have a goldfish, but you don't want to spend the money on the jug of water you're supposed to have, so you just let some sit out and let the, I don't know if that works. I did it growing up. There was our first pop. That is the most exciting flippin' noise when your jars pop like that, because you know that it's sealed. Alright, so all we have left now is cucumber salad. And I'm going to just do a really quick recipe before I start cleaning, because this is, I'm having a hard time leaving that. It's fine, but. Alright, so you're going to need to get a bowl and a spoon, and I'm just going to do a really quick recipe here with you. There's another pop. 2 down, 4 to go, right? Alright, so I need to get a mayo out of, yes. I do half mayo, half Miracle Whip. You can do whatever you prefer. I obviously would prefer mayo, but I do like the flavor when it comes to salads of half Miracle Whip, half mayo. So I'm just going to put in, we're going to start with roughly half a cup. We're going to do probably a half a cup Miracle Whip. Eyeball it. Okay. We are going to add in 3 down, 3 to go. A couple tablespoons, tablespoon, whatever, sugar. Already added in my celery seed. We're going to do pepper. Tony's, because Tony's is where it's at. I don't know. I love that stuff. Lowry's. And I think that's about going to be it. You know what? Let's add some onion powder. And we'll add some garlic powder. Just because onion powder gets lonely if it doesn't have garlic powder. Oh, you know what else we could add? We could add some everything bagel to it. Why don't we do that? Oh, and mine's not open, so maybe we won't. Oh, Carrie, let's get it open. I just had to get a new container because I used everything bagel seasoning. When we had our fish fry, I threw some cream cheese blocks on the smoker in a little throwaway tin thing, and it doesn't have an inside seal. Weird. Okay, so we're just going to sprinkle some of that in for sesame seeds. But then I topped the cream cheese with everything bagel seasoning and smoked it, and it was delish. Okay, so where? Oh, here it is. this is kind of weird, but I save banana pepper juice. 4 down, 2 to go. I don't know, that's weird that I keep saying that, but it's exciting. So I buy my banana peppers in bulk now because I eat so many of them. I eat them on pizza, burgers, everything. So I save some of this juice, and that's what I'm gonna thin it out with. You can use milk if you want. Nobody will judge. I just like the flavoring. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. This is kind of, oh, I forgot. I add a little squirt of mustard. Some people don't. So this is my kind of my every salad go-to, right? So I'll use this same recipe for cucumbers, potato salad, when I do chicken salad. It's just kind of what I do. When I do potato salad, I will add a little bit more mustard, make it a little bit more yellowy. So you're gonna taste it. Delicious. You do not want it thin because your cucumbers will thin your sauce out. So you're gonna kind of want it almost, I mean, thicker than yogurt, I would think, roughly a little around the same as yogurt. And so what I will do now is I always make a little bit more because when my husband goes to pick garden tonight, we're gonna have more cucumbers. And so I'll just keep adding to this bowl, well, until my sauce is pretty much non-existent. Stir it in, leave it in the fridge to marinate. Tonight, when my husband picks more cucumbers for me, then I will slice more up and put it in here. So I'm just gonna get a bowl now to keep it in the fridge. And that will be it for today, guys. Not sure, are we even recording? Oh my God, wouldn't that be funny? I am, but I don't even know what I would do. Haven't been having much luck, you know, the best of luck with losing videos and half of videos. So that is it. Cucumber salad is done. I will make garlic knots tonight and lasagna. We'll have cucumber salad. I shouldn't have done that, but they'll seal. And that will be our supper. I hope you guys enjoy my content. I really, oh, I was gonna show you my pickled. So these are the pickled cherry tomatoes. It's kind of dark in here because my light in the dining room is not on. I pickle it with rosemary, and these are really good. And so I'm gonna do a recipe with, you know, when you have cherry tomatoes, you get a ridiculous amount, and you can only, honestly, you can only eat so many before they go bad. You can only give so many away. Not everybody is a fan of cherry tomatoes, but I'm gonna do a recipe with that. I'm hoping to get one more batch of homemade salsa so I can do my homemade salsa with you guys. Y'all, it is a good recipe and I'm really, really excited. I've had a couple jars now of it. See, on these, you'll get this white film because I need to go to town and get, well, to the next town over and get softener salt. A little bit of vinegar in your water would take care of it. I just take a clean towel and wipe it off. I mean, obviously if you're giving them away, you want to have it look really cute. And what I do when I do give these away is I'll take the ring off. I'm not going to do it now because they're still hot. Take the ring off, I'll cut a little piece of fabric, put it down over it, put the ring back on, and put a little bit of twine around here. And that's it. I put it in a basket and that's what I give out. So, alright guys, I'll talk to you next time. I'm going to clean up. It's hot in here. I'm going to shut my windows, doors, turn my air on. It's 78 degrees inside my house. It's humid out and I thought, I don't know, it would cool down, but I'm going to shut doors and stuff and get it cool in here for the day. So, until next time, see you guys.